Hey everybody, how you doing? Jeff Westfall back with another combat loop lesson. Here's the commercial. My email address is rpmaa1@gmail.com. As always, if you have a question about combat loops or about purchasing one, drop me a line. So last time, we got to talking about spinning the loop. And I want to tell you some of the reasons why I practice this. It does have tactical applications. It's very useful in certain conditions to get your rope spinning when you're trying to fight with this thing in your hand. But there are other applications as well. The first one is exercise. Now the red loop I just had, it's a light loop, and I can still get a nice pump with that. But this is a 6-ply, much bigger diameter loop, and you get a nice upper body workout doing enough spinning with this. So it's useful for exercise as well. It's a fun form of exercise, if there is such a thing. Another reason for learning to spin a combat loop is for safety when you're training with more dangerous flexible weapons. So if I get used to this and I learn to feel when I've hit myself and think, oh, if that had been something more dangerous than a length of rope, that would have been bad. Much like training with a soft training weapon, a soft knife or a soft stick. There are flexible weapons that are less forgiving, like a Manriki Gosari, which is a Japanese weapon. It's a length of chain with 2 solid steel handles. Or even further out on the end of the spectrum is a 9-section Chinese steel whip with a heavy handle on one hand. And this interesting end is about as heavy as a 50 caliber slug with a nice point on it. If you're swinging this thing, you better have done your homework about how not to hit yourself when you're spinning. So spinning a combat loop is great, safe training for other flexible weapons. So having gotten those little bits of business out of the way, let's talk about today's lesson. I talked to you in an earlier lesson about flowing from a finger hook grip to a wrist insertion to a standard double loop inside-outside grip. That's good to know how to do. And I taught it to you in a more stationary setting where your arm is just, where the rope is hanging from your hand. I want to be able to do this as well when I'm spinning. Why? Because there are going to be times that I'm going to find myself spinning in a grip that is suboptimal. I would rather not spin with a finger hook if I can help it. Anything I can spin in, any grip I can spin in, can also have the other end grabbed. And if my opponent grabs and applies a solid pulling pressure, I'm not sure how much I can resist with just my fingers. Ask yourself how long you could hang from a chinning bar situation holding onto ropes with your 2 sets of 4 fingers. Probably not very long. But if you pass your arm through the loop and wrap your hands around, you could hang from that for a good long time. That's an excellent test to determine whether or not the grip you're using is combatively practical. So there are going to come times when you're spinning your rope that it's going to come out of the grip that you've got and flow into a grip that's suboptimal. It's just going to happen whether you want it to or not. And it's nice to be able to flow back into your grip, your preferred grip, without having to stop. So I'm going to talk about how to make that happen. First, I need to be able to distinguish between swinging my loop downwards and swinging it upwards. Now, of course, you could say, well, I'm swinging downwards against that guy, and I'm swinging upwards against that guy. And you'd be right. But generally speaking, I don't like to swing with my front hand. And the reason is because if I'm swinging with my front hand, it's not so bad over here, but I like this better. And on the other side, swinging in a backhand mode, I'm exposing my arm the entire time. This is kind of a no-no in weaponry. You don't want to be exposing your arm, and most especially your elbow and flank. So my preference generally when I'm using this is to keep it in a support position in the rear most of the time. There are definitely exceptions. And spin it from back here if I'm going to use it. So with that in mind, there's a big difference in how I can shift my grips around when I'm spinning it down compared to when I'm spinning it up. You'll find that what I'm going to show you is very difficult to impossible to pull off when the rope is spinning downwards. So I'll stand this way so you can see. The rope is now spinning downwards against that guy. Very difficult for me to insert a different grip under those conditions. If I slow way down, I can do it, but under fast spins, very difficult. So the first thing I've got to learn to do to do what I want you to do today is I've got to be able to switch the direction of my spin. That's pretty easy to pull off with any flexible weapon. If I've got it spinning in a direction and I want to change the direction, I'm going to feed it out, and I just killed its spin. So I'll go further back here. If I'm spinning this way and I reach out, I extend the lever, then it slows the spin way down. So much so that it's easy to change the direction of the spin. Now I can do it out here, and I can do it out here. It's an old trick in flexible weapons practice. There are other ways to reverse the spin. I can put it around my arm and reverse the spin. So that's less useful for what I want to do because I don't want to tie up my other hand for right now. We're going to assume our other hand is busy. So I want to be able to reverse direction with one hand. So no matter how I'm doing it, if I want to reverse direction, I extend. If I extend this way with an upward swing, if I extend behind me, I actually accelerate the spin. But if I extend this way, it slows it down, especially if I learn to stop spinning almost like I'm tossing something underhand, right? And if I'm over swinging, which is what I'm going to be reversing from, almost like I do the same thing, tossing something backhand back that way. So I've got a finger hook grip, I'm spinning, and I want to reverse direction because I'm going downwards against this guy. So I reach out and I reverse my spin. Now that it's spinning up, I can change my grip. Now the first thing I need to do, as this is spinning, is understand that I'm going to make my transition, which is going to be to insert my thumb through the loop. I'm going to make my transition as it's forward and starting its way up. As it's doing that, I'm going to shoot my thumb through the hole. And at first, you're going to end up going from a finger hook to having it wrapped around your wrist. That's going to be sort of a training wheels version of this. Later, we'll improve on this, but this is the first thing you'll learn to do. So I've got a finger hook and it's spinning upward. I'm going to pass my thumb through, and now it's the most awkward spinning grip of them all, having it wrapped around your wrist. I would never want to use it this way in combat. I would probably quickly grab with the other hand and improve my grip. But if I don't have access to this hand, I can then, from this spin, I can catch it with my thumb. I can get my thumb in the path of the spin, and it wraps right up into my favorite grip here. So I've got it in a finger hook. I insert my thumb and find myself in this position. I turn my palm down, and when I turn my palm down, I open my thumb, and the rope, if I do it at the right timing, the rope will come up through here, and you're into your grip. So again, that's a double transition. I'm spinning up. I put my forearm in. I turn the palm down and catch with my thumb. Okay, that's your first assignment. As you start getting better, you're going to find that you can do it all at once. By the way, I normally wouldn't want to voluntarily go from my favorite grip back out to a finger hook, but you don't always get what you want. And sometimes when you're working, you'll find yourself all of a sudden in a finger hook grip. So that's going to happen automatically. But if you're practicing and you want to get back into the finger hook position so you can try it again, there's a way to do that. So if I've got my inside-outside double loop grip, all I've got to do is pull my thumb out. Now the trick is to learn when that happens. And I just did it. So as it's up in the air on the upward swing is a good time to pull your thumb out. Now I'll put my thumb back in. I'll pull my thumb out. I'll put my thumb back in. These are tricks that, as you get used to them, they'll start to happen automatically, just like your fingers find the fretboard on a guitar or any other skill that you practice regularly. This is not just for showing off, guys. This is to become familiar with your weapon so that you don't have to look at it to make your transitions. You put it where you want to put it. You should practice these skills, by the way, with both hands. You should practice spinning with your left hand. You should practice switching the grip with your left hand. I'm not going to waste our time today demonstrating it, but it's something that you should work on both sides. When we come back next time, we're going to talk about how to switch sides fluidly from the right hand to the left hand and vice versa. Take care. Get you a length of rope and tie a knot in it if you don't have anything else, and practice these techniques. I think now you've got enough, you're going to start having a lot of fun. See you next time.